Okay. We on?
Yep.
Live. Okay. My name's Claude Vargo, the mediator, or Chris Vargo.
Okay.
And I'm just going to ask you, some questions, and then but you're in full control.
Yes.
Wherever you like to go. And we have about a half hour for this, but we appreciate you giving a live interview. I did one yesterday, which was neat. You want to hold up your? There we go. And Randy, do you want to tell us? I get your full name because it'll be transcribed and written out as well.
Okay.
In narrative form, and then the outfit that you were in, and the years of service in the Marine Corps, and then overseas.
Randy Keith Roberts. I was in the Marine Corps from June of '67 to February of '70. I served in Vietnam from December 23rd of '67 till January 12th, '69. And then I finished up my last year, I guess. I was in Kodiak, Alaska, Marine Barracks, Kodiak, Alaska.
Okay, we'll get to the Kodiak, Alaska in a little bit. Let's see. Then you were there almost exact the same time I was. I landed in December '67.
That's when I.
So it was pretty quiet then.
Yeah.
What was your first action that you heard or saw during?
The first one was we were out. I was attached to the Korean Marines, and we were doing company side, just search and destroy, whatever they called them, and and we had tank. The lead tank hit a mine, and me being a new guy, I had to monitor the radios and stay on top of the tank, and that was the first time somebody actually tried to ever kill me. A sniper shot at me, and I thought I felt the heat from the round as it went by my head. That was the first really scary moment that I realized this isn't a game. You know.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
As a pun intended.
Yeah.
What position were you on the tank? Starting off and then going through and then ending up, and then what?
Well,
what rank were you?
Well, I started as a driver, and and then I went to I was a driver for like 3 or 4 months. 3 months. Then I did. I was a gunner, and then somebody got medevaced, and so somebody got hurt. So I moved up to tank commander, and I stayed as tank commander, basically on and off. I had the platoon commander's tank. He didn't want to go. I took it, as tank commander.
Okay. And then what rank were you? I
was an E3, never left, yeah.
When you left, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so did you extend?
No. They wanted me to. My platoon went on float, and I was too short to go.
I see. Okay.
And but my dad was in real bad health back home, and I see.
Decided to hook him on back.
And I really wanted to get out of there too.
I see your side of that. Yeah, exactly. Well, I feel your pain because we share a lot of the same things. Where was your area of, I guess, AO?
Our company was located south of Marble Mountain, with about 5 miles, I guess, with different infantry battalions. Originally it was 3-1, and then it changed all the time. Every so many months somebody else, but a lot of it was spent with the Korean Marines. Leading up into Tet, I was with the Korean Marines.
Okay.
And
how about during Tet and after Tet?
During Tet, Korean Marines, the city of Hoi An got overrun, and we went in with 3 tanks, 2 companies of Korean infantry, and we cleared the streets. It was a way smaller version than Hue City, but it was street fighting. Something. Being a new guy, I don't know if I thought other guys might have done it before, but we were all new to that experience.
Right. So you were trained in guerrilla warfare. The next thing you know, you're fighting in cities.
Right. It was the first time that we had multiple tanks hit with RPGs. A lot of one tank had 3 wounded, and the other tank had 2, and we didn't get hit with any. We were in the middle.
So you weren't wounded in that?
No.
In that action.
No.
What was your? Were you near Hill 55?
I was on Hill 55 occasionally,
Okay.
but that was later in '68. We moved out there originally to direct fire into the Arizona, and it was building up to this is November '68. We had an operation called Meade River, where they had a total encirclement of the Arizona, and I can't remember the total body count. We killed a lot of them.
I do remember here.
Yeah.
I was up north, but I do remember hearing about Meade River.
Yeah, it's a biggie, and it was a place we tried to clear out. It seemed like my whole complete tour, off and on, was trying to clear the Arizona, and this one place in particular.
Well, the Arizona was what?
It was a valley, a big giant valley that we called it the Arizona because it was like the Wild West. Every time we went in there, we got in, we had action, you know. And some people called it Dodge City.
Okay.
And
And
I watched that video this morning, and one of the worst places was at Gonoy Island. Was on the tape this morning, and it's been 2 or 3 different times we went in there, and they would, if they felt like standing and fighting, we had combat. A lot of times they'd just drift off, and we'd just spend days stomping around doing nothing, you know.
Okay. Do you remember who was on else was on your tank or tanks or in your outfit?
Yeah. My first tank commander was Sergeant Starbuck. My gunner was his name was Tyrone Redding. We went through boot camp together and tank school and everything. Same tank. His name was Tyrone Redding from Philadelphia. Our loader was that Doug Christensen, and I was the driver. George Middlestead was a tank commander I had. And Robert Milovis come on. He took over the gunner's duty because Tyrone got into a little bit of trouble over a Korean incident. And
do you want to talk about the incident?
Yeah. We had problems with the Korean Marines because what started out over the burning the shitters, and our platoon commander was making us do it like every 2 days. There's a brigade of Koreans, and they wouldn't do it, and so we'd have so we complained, and the CBs that was attached to the Koreans built us a 2-man head, and we put
But they used it. But they were using your head.
It was the big one.
Right.
Everybody was using it, both
but
Koreans but they weren't doing their part of taking their turn burning.
Right.
So then we built our own put a combination lock on for our platoon only, and they took offense to that. And then at the mess hall, there was only 20 of us. You know, just one platoon of.
And how many rocks? Republic of Korean.
I don't know what a brigade holds. Thousands, I guess.
Oh, thousands?
I don't know. A couple regiments, isn't it?
Okay. Be 1,300. So
there was a good. I don't know if they had their own artillery. I don't know if they did or not. But anyhow, we had a couple fights break out. They all thought they were.
So it was 20 against.
Yeah.
Well, 20 with 2,600.
Yeah, and we'd go to their mess hall, their food, but we'd be standing in line. We'd go as a group, safety in numbers, and these guys cut the line on us. And we stopped them, and a fight ensued. One of them got knocked out, the Koreans, and then it just escalated from there. Little incidents. Well, then we had a guy that stayed back in our hooches while we went out on an operation with the Koreans. He went in to take a nap, because he was the only one there. So
Right.
he went in and laid down. Here they booby-trapped our hooch. They took a grenade, pulled the pin, and the cot was against the 2x4 on the floor and held it in place. The cot held the spoon in place.
Right.
So our tank park was empty, but it just happened we were coming in to the perimeter, and the cook went to lay down, and he looked and he saw the grenade, so he picked it up holding the spoon and was going to throw it in our tank park. Whenever he let go of it, it was short fused, and it took his arm off at the shoulder.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and we had 2 black guys in my platoon. Tyrone was one,
Right.
and the other guy was like a really good friend of his was the other. He's the one that lost his arm at the shoulder.
Who lost his arm?
I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
I have no idea. And I thought about it long and hard, but well, Tyrone kind of lost it. And he stood in the columns of the infantry was coming in, the Koreans, and and he just stood right in the middle. And they about all of them went around him, but 1 or 2, you know. And he just pulled his .45 and shot him, and then he started chasing Koreans everywhere, shooting and shooting. Our lieutenant at the time, we chased him and we tackled him. We ran out of ammo, so we tackled him and took him to our in our hooch. Now the Koreans are pissed at us, big time. And,
Okay, now you shot. Now he shot Tyrone shot the Korean.
yeah. So
Did he die?
no, thank God, because he did. He ended up doing 6 months in the Red Line Brig in Da Nang over this incident.
Okay.
And but we tied him up, and he sat there
You
and
tied the Korean.
no, our
Oh,
Tyrone.
I see. Okay.
Just so he wouldn't do it again.
Right.
And we tied him up, and let me think. He asked me to light him a cigarette because we were, but like I said, we went through boot camp together and everything. So I lit him a cigarette, put it in his mouth, and he seemed like he really calmed down, and he's talking rational and everything, and talked us into letting him loose after half hour, 45 minutes. And there were so many Koreans milling about our hooches.
Sure.
We had 2 guards on each end. Now these are our allies, and we had guys loaded, locked and loaded at the doors. And we let Tyrone loose, and didn't he get up and run over and grab one of the guards, had the rifle lean against the wall. He
Right.
grabbed it, went out and started chasing him again. And there we got him this time. We had Anglico was attached to us, or not attached to us, they were attached to the Koreans.
Who's Anglico?
Air Naval Gun Support Line.
I see.
They call it in Naval Gunfire.
I see,
Air
okay.
support for them. And their corpsman fixed up the cook originally, stuck
Right.
around, you know, and our lieutenant told the corpsman, knock him out. So he hit him with a couple morphine sticks, I guess, and whatever it was.
I
And,
got you.
and he
That was a
in
good
line.
way to put him down.
Yeah.
Without
And
causing any warning.
then we had colonels from Da Nang, and it was like a little bit of an international incident. So they told us then, load your gear and get out. So we packed up and took all 5 tanks and left. Well, of course, they were upset that they didn't have no tank support, so I think 5th tanks, one of their units come down. And a matter of fact, I met a gentleman here. They said, welcome the new members. I welcomed them, and I said, who was you with? He said, 5th tanks. And I'm like, how the heck did it go? This is the first day, and I'm talking to him, and he said, I said, do you know anybody from 5th Tanks that's here? And he said, I didn't really get to meet no one. He said, oh, it's like a new guy, and he was walking right around our area. He saw an ammo can laying. He picked it up, and it took his leg off. He's here now. I don't really know his name, but
Oh, okay.
I just met him.
I see.
And,
Okay.
and that started another big feud. I don't know if you read Bob Peavy's book.
I did.
Well, that's all mentioned in there. Warrant Officer Embassi emphasized how it's quite a few chapters on what we went through with the Koreans, you know.
Right. I'll have to. I have the book. My wife read it, and I'll have to reread
yeah,
it.
you'll
Look
read.
at-
Yeah,
Now it becomes.
yeah,
From
personal.
what you say.
Yeah,
It's personalized now.
yeah, and that was just like, holy hell, that wasn't even the end of February of '68. And but they bailed us out of there, and I got attached to, I think it was 2nd Battalion, 3rd Marines, and they was really worried about, with that going on, about them attacking the dang airstrip. So we put different places. We putting blocking forces up wherever recon would tell us that this is a probable route they're going to use to try and hit the airstrip and stuff. And you know, little skirmishes, little firefights, nothing major like Hoi An was, you know. And then I don't know, it seemed to calm down till May, and then May of '68, it's like another mini Tet, they called it, I think, and they took Hoi An over again. So we had to go back and take it out again. We didn't use the Koreans this time. There was an ARVN unit there that lived in Hoi An. Their families were there. It was the 51st ARVN Regiment, and Australian advisors, excellent, best ARVN troops I ever worked with, and we took it back in a day. You know, we had everybody completely out, but they asked us to stay, so we spent 2 or 3 weeks, which was the best duty I ever had. You know, we was just sitting around eating in the Army MACV compound with hot chow, and really good duty for that time period.
Sure.
Yeah. In my service record book, there's operations. There's like 7 of them, I think. The Koreans, but I can't remember the name of them because it's Dragon this and Dragon that,
okay.
and but we did spend time with them at the edge of the Arizona. It was called the Mud Flats. They had a little outpost out there, but it was the same deal. You just couldn't trust them. It was horrible.
Would you have you gone back, or would you go back?
Well, I'll tell you what, a couple of us talked up there. See, all the other trips I ever saw was I had to go to Saigon and I had to go here, and I don't want to go there. I'm in a PTSD group in the VA, and
excellent.
And this guy showed up with videos. He's been back 3 or 4 times. It's like a vacation spot for him, and and there was like 3 Marines sitting there. 2 of them were DMZ Marines and me. One was in 1-9 and the other one was in 2-3. But anyhow, we're looking at each other like, and everybody else, there's this place in Saigon, and people are walking around in their army uniform, I mean their khakis with their stripes and their piscot around. I'm like, we didn't get to see none of that in I Corps, you know what I mean? Right. and it kind of shocked me, so I got them left. And then the guy that's in charge, I guess he's a therapist, he said, well, what was the problem with that? And I said, that wasn't Vietnam to us. You know, all 3 of us left.
Right.
And what they saw and what we saw is 2 different.
They said they saw.
Yeah. Well, no, they knew Saigon inside and out.
1-9 didn't know Saigon.
No, that's what I'm saying. We were all up in the,
I was with 1-9.
Yeah, we was all up at the DMZ.
Yeah,
but these guys were showing photos and they're having a great time looking at Saigon and like, oh, you remember this place? You remember that place? And I'm like, I have no idea that people lived like this. You know, air conditioned. Well, I had an air conditioned apartment. I had a house boy or a house girl.
Yeah,
and wasn't 2 different wars.
Yeah, exactly. No, if he was with 1-9, I know he saw probably the 278 days worth out of 365 worth of action.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say he did. Yeah.
We were attached to them twice at Quezon, and then afterwards, and they saw more action than anybody.
Were you the one on the tape?
Yeah.
At the Stone Quarry? I had a really good friend of mine. He was one. His name is Bill Kinney. He's a retired Altoona police officer.
No.
And he was in Charlie or Delta 1-9. As a matter of fact,
Bill Kinney.
You know, they had that Walking Dead nickname.
Sure. At the rock quarry, there was half the side was Alpha and the other side was Delta, towards Hill 64. But yeah, 1-9. I mean, on 880 881 and 861 north and south.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, out of a company, 86 walked up it, or 85 walked up and, 6 walked down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I read that book, The Hill Fights.
yeah, hellacious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my buddy, the guy that goes to my group, his name's Fred Monahan. He won the Navy Cross that night up on those hill fights.
What's his name?
Fred Monahan.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I got him to sign that book, The Hill Fights.
I got you. Okay.
And,
I probably read it.
Yeah,
I'll look through my.
Yeah, Fred, his picture's in there.
I got you.
He's got a picture of him in there.
Excellent.
And that's the main reason I stick with this group is there's some combat Marines there that you can relate to, you know, because some of those guys I can't relate to.
Right. Yeah. I know. A group.
Yeah.
I understand that. No, we were with a pretty fighting outfit.
Yeah, right. And
a lot of them didn't see the war like you saw it, Randy. Okay, I think that'll do it.
That'll do it?
Really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
A lot of good information.
Okay.
There, and I like your.
Yeah, you know,
couple of
somebody,
your
we were
stories.
talking up there, and I said, you're going to tell them about the Koreans, you know, because the Charlie Company First Tanks, we had all rotated around them Koreans, and I said, I don't know. If they ask, I'll tell them. Sure, I'll be glad to, you know, because
There you go.
they're not all they were cracked up to be.
Yeah, I know. They had a good